Welcome everybody to the next edition of Newrez Voices. I am fired up today because I'm with one of my favorite loan consultants from the great state of Texas, Hillary Bryan from our Platinum Eagle joint venture. And I'm so excited because of Hillary's energy that I know all of you are going to feel, but also because Hillary was one of the loan consultants that joined us last year in 2024. And so she joined us kind of early in the year, mid-year, and just came out of the gates flying. And, by fourth quarter, when we all got together as a team, she was already one of our leaders and sitting on a panel and sharing all the success stories she's having. So, this should be a real treat for everybody to kind of hear that story and get to know Hillary better. So all of that said, welcome, Hillary.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start there. Tell us kind of how your journey, how you got into the business and how all of that led you to Platinum Eagle and Newrez.
Sure. So I started in a bank years ago. My husband was in the military, in the Marine Corps when we got married. And so I started in a bank and then they moved us around as he was in the service. And then I always say, people ask, no one ever says, do you want to be a mortgage lender when you grow up? Like, no, they don't ever say, I want to be a mortgage lender when I grow up. And so it's like you just somehow start helping somebody with mortgages and then eventually you become that person. It's kind of what happened to me. And so I worked in the bank and started working with like a senior executive that did mortgage loans and then became that mortgage person years ago. And so I've worked in the bank was where I began and then have worked as a mortgage banker for the past, maybe 15 years since then. But that's basically how I got started and learned and then got into the business. And actually, before I came to Newrez, a bank had recruited me back over there. And it was during the time that rates were really going up and there was so much uncertainty. And I thought, well, maybe that's where I need to be. Could I work 9 to 5 and like have more time to relax? And I did go to the bank for a year. It was not for me. And so then I, was already connected with the real estate office. And then our joint venture is one of the newer ones. And so it just really worked out perfectly for me to go back into, being the mortgage lender outside of the bank, and with Newrez and Platinum Eagle Mortgage.
Right. That's awesome. So, and you're exactly right about how people get started in this business. It's generally not that, as 5-year-olds or even 12th graders that we say we want to get into the mortgage business. We just find our way to it. So when you were in that bank, what was your first kind of job where you were getting involved in it and kind of how did that progress? Did you start in processing or were you straight into sales or?
Well, so there was a senior executive that worked at the bank, and he was really the go-getter salesperson. He was very established in the community. He would go get the loans and bring them in. And I just started out like kind of like as his paperwork person. We didn't really have it was like it was all new. Nothing was established. So I didn't know the difference and later figured out that, oh my gosh, that was terrible. But I learned all the things because I was his person, but yet didn't know anything. And so just gathering the paperwork, helping communicate with his customers. And then we would actually have to send it out for underwriting like a broker, but I didn't even know the difference because I had never done it before and it was terrible. And so I learned that I did not want to do that. Once I figured out there was a different life. But so I started out, gathering the paperwork, learning all the things, working with the underwriters and really the back end to fully understand how it worked, working with him in the bank.
Yeah. I mean, it's a common theme that we hear as we talk to successful folks like yourself is just those first few jobs that you have in the industry. They're just so invaluable of kind of learning the process and learning the pain points that a customer can undergo, that operations, how do you work with operations effectively? And then all of those things really build the foundation to being a great great loan consultant, a great salesperson. So, I'm sure people can already feel it, and I've mentioned it to you. I'm such a huge fan of the energy level that you bring. There's just always a level of positivity and kind of palpable buzz about how you're attacking the day. And so one of the things that I'd love to hear about is, how do you do it? Is there a morning routine that you have, or things that you kind of go throughout the day to stay energized and excited about what you're doing?
So there's not really a true answer. I think, like for me, certain people are driven differently. Maybe we're wired differently. We think we're the normal ones. I think everybody else thinks we're the crazy ones. Um, but it's like, it's just having that hunger and that desire is really what it is. And in fact, I was in a meeting yesterday, and this man, not in mortgage, but he's like, well, you win some, you lose some. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, that's terrible. I hate when people say that. I'm like, no, we don't. We win them all. If we don't, then what are we doing? And so it's like I work too hard to, oh, we win some, we lose some. Like, it's having the drive and the hunger. Like, I want to help every family that I can. And we're in a different, smaller community where I was born and raised. And so, I don't know. It's hard to answer, but it's just helping the people, helping the realtors close more transactions, seeing that I can make a difference, and just having that drive. I also have two very expensive daughters. And so, I mean, it's funny, we laugh, but it's like when you're looking at potential loan officers and who to hire and who to work with. And I mean, those that are driven and hungry, I would say most of the time, like they're going to work the hardest. They want to win every transaction. They have that mindset. And that's what keeps me energized and going, because there are days that I am tired and just, oh gosh, we all get worn down. We all get tired. Um, but then the moment if I lose a loan, well, then I'm ready. Like, I'm fired back up. I'm ready to go because I'm so mad. So then, it's like you're reminded. And I think having the drive and, um, just wanting to serve those families and seeing the difference and knowing that you can do it. Like, you can be at the top. You can keep winning. You can keep serving. Just every day, starting fresh and knowing that you want to win.
Yeah. No, I think you bring up two things that I really resonate with me. One is just the the accountability to your family, and I just find over and over that people from so many different backgrounds, if you're willing to work hard and you're willing to learn, you have a path to success in this business. And so there is that
Absolutely.
accountability, like you say, to your family that, hey, what do I need to do more? What can I do better to win that next loan? And so there is kind of an ownership that comes with it. And I think that's empowering, and it gets you fired up every day. And the other thing you
Yes.
mentioned is that, you know, being in a small town, and whether you're in a small town or a big town, it's the accountability to the people you serve, whether
That's
it's
right.
team members or people that you see every day on the street, like knowing how important this is, and it's your reputation. Every loan is kind of your reputation. I think it's got to get you fired up.
Right. I try to tell customers too, like their shopping loans, if they're, talking to us and someone else, and it's some online whoever, I'm like, well, we have a greater accountability because I'm going to see my people at the football game, at the grocery
Right.
store, in the community. And so we have a greater responsibility to serve them and serve them well than the phone answer person that's in a whole different state. It is a different relationship and responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful. And to that end, one of the things, I read a lot of surveys, and I have the opportunity to send a lot back to you and say, that was awesome. This was great to see to hear what a customer had to say about their experience with you. And, a lot of that is about, like you're saying, because they are genuinely connected to you in the community. But maybe you could speak a little bit more about how, if you have any systems or things that you do every time to try to create that connection and confidence with a customer, that you're the right person and that they can relax, and that you're going to take care of it for them.
hmm So we do have a loan officer team, and that was new to me, something that I was introduced to by a manager at Newrez, and that has worked very good for us. So I have a loan officer partner that's able to help me like keep up with the prequals and the calls and people coming in that are new. And that has really been a big benefit. But something that we do, I mean, we call them, we text them every time, and not all loan officers want to do it because it's a lot. But every time an email goes out, we don't just expect our people to be able to sit behind their computer and be reading the email. Um, whether it's her or I, we text them personally every time. Hey, look for your email. You have to e-sign these documents. As soon as we get their contract and we get started up front, I have a welcome email and a bomb video that I send out that says, this is Hillary. We're so excited to help you. Just know there may be bumps in the road, but we're going to get you to the finish line. That's what's most important. Just reiterating those things. And I also say, I want to introduce you to our team. So I do that up front, and I send a flyer in that email that shows, here's my loan partner, here's our processor, here's our closer. You may hear from these people, and that has helped. Some of the questions, are the like in the process, or like, is Tammy someone safe I'm supposed to talk to? Yes, they're on our team. And so introducing that, but it's really the personal connection. So I'm texting these clients, these realtors during the process and multiple times. We have, when we send out their appraisal, we don't just rely on the system to send it out. We're also sending it out saying, here's a copy, save it for your records. We have a copy in case you need it later on. We're communicating with the realtors, just trying to be more one-on-one. So we're creating more of a relationship than, like, for instance, the other lender that's online. Even though we will do loans for people all over the state of Texas and all over Louisiana, we still want it to be more personal than someone else or the competition. And so it's really just the texting, calling to be in communication with them directly. We don't just rely on the system to make those connections or, give them those milestone updates. We're trying to also be involved in that. But with that said, our customers are spoiled. Our realtors are spoiled. And so they text us, call us all the time, everything. And sometimes that, can be not the most effective. But that is kind of how we've built the business, and they know they can call us and text us. So we just try our best to make sure we're answering, all the people.
Yeah. I mean, I think you bring up the genuine connection, and then, you know, I think you're pointing to the fact that it's almost over communication, but you can't over communicate because people want that and they want to receive information on their terms. And sometimes it may be a video, a text, an email, I mean, whatever these things are, and you're hitting all those places. And then, like you say, people respond, and availability is the greatest ability, is as I say.
Yeah.
It's a huge differentiator. We hear it over and over again in the surveys that we meet people where they are. Look, we started talking here about video and text and all these kind of things, and that's one of the things I remember from your panel last year at our sales meeting was just all the different things that you were doing in your business development process. And even before we kicked off here, we were talking about your social media strategy and how you're thinking about that. So can you share with the audience here maybe your business development strategy or some of the things that you're really leaning into this year to try to grow on social media or video, et cetera?
Yeah, so we would just post on Facebook and Instagram. And so now I've got the TikTok and I'm learning how to do all of those things. But I try to post a video probably 2 times a week, but I'm also posting, even if it's just an image, education, but a mixture of also like funny, relatable to the mortgage industry. And we put it out there, and I try to, I want everyone in the community or even all over Texas and Louisiana, I want them to see it and know that we appreciate them. We want their business. It's important to us, and hopefully reaching even a greater market, and realtors that I may not talk to or have a connection. Hopefully they'll see the videos. And so we really do try to post on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, different videos, different topics, different things relatable so that we can reach a greater audience of people. And then, of course, we have our top realtors that do tons of business. But for me, like, I always love helping the realtors that do, 2 transactions a year. Well, I want them too. And so if I can get all of those also that do 2 transactions a year, that's how I reach a lot of those types of agents because they can see the video, they're getting the education, and then they reach out to me and know, or feel that they have a personal connection. And then I can help basically just grow overall through giving them, it's weird. You see the social media, but it makes you feel like you know the person. And so we're really just posting and all kinds of things. And we try to keep it broad. So, a mixture of mortgage, serious education, closing, something funny, relatable, family, but all, professional, but to reach a greater audience.
So do you, and well, I'm just going to ask you, so do you have a calendar? Like, do you plan like 30 days in advance for what you're going to post and how that mix will work? I mean, how do you organize that?
No, I should.
No.
That would be a great idea. I don't, I think because, which there are people that are excellent and they are very, like regiment and trained and like, this is what I'm going to say, and this is what I'm going to post, but that's just not me. And so I'm more of like I'm waiting in the car for something and something pops in my head. Oh, I can talk about that. Or watching other loan officers on social media is very powerful. I can see something they're talking about, posting about, they may service Florida. And then I think, oh, well, I can do that. So while I'm in the car, just make a quick video, send it out. Mine, they're not over polished. They're not, I'm not using a teleprompter. Um, just doing it. It's casual, relatable, and post it. And I just try to stay on top of it and know each week, to get a few out there. But I don't have a calendar. I don't have a set content. And really, I guess the referrals and the realtors kind of guide me on that because as people are calling, asking questions, I get questions from realtors, and different things in the market. I use that to kind of think, oh, I need to make a video about that. I've been asked about that twice this week. Or as we help a customer that may get down payment assistance, I try to just notify, make a quick video. Hey, we just got this customer $9,000. Call us. We want to help you too. Just as it comes up is really what I do. And then
Yeah.
hopefully that makes it relevant to the time and what's going on. And I mean, one time I did do I don't know, I saw this sales coach or something, and I did go through and it scheduled out 30 days of different like still images and different education prompts. And it was really good and very organized. And I should, continue doing that.
Well, there is something to be said, like say, if you've got the discipline to do it, of just kind of going where the spirit takes you, if you will, of just kind of, hey, here's what's on my mind, and that it feels natural. So I can sense that in your social media because it is very natural, and like say the mix of family pictures and work topics and all these things, you do kind of get to know who somebody is that way. So, is there any post you've made that surprised you? In kind of how people engaged with it, like you just thought it was going to be another post, and it went bigger or got more comments than you expected?
Not really, but it's like you see the like you can see how many people viewed it, watched it, liked it. Well, if you're not doing it, then you will be surprised because even if you post very simple video and the amount of people looking at it, even if they're not commenting or liking it, between TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, if you look at how many people are looking at them, it's like it's thousands of people. And so it is crazy to think that this many people are watching and looking at these videos. They may not comment, but like I went to take pictures at the elementary Meet the Teacher the other night, and there was two teachers there, and they both stopped me and said, "Oh my gosh, I love your videos." And I was, it's kind of like my daughters. It's like, oh my gosh, like it's so embarrassing. They're like, "We love to watch you. It's so funny." Well, I didn't know they're watching the videos. They don't comment. Like I don't even know that they follow me or don't, but they are watching and they know. And so then I said, well, you know what? At least I'm famous to two people because they're watching the videos. And I told them that and they laughed. But I'm like, I know without a doubt that those two teachers, if they need a mortgage or their family needs a mortgage, they know I'm a lender. Like there's no question. They know what I do. They know that I want their business. I want their referrals. And ultimately, that's what I want to make sure that people that see it know. You don't want after the fact, oh, I didn't know you did that. My
That's right.
people have no excuse. Like they know. Um, and so that is, I saw these ladies and had no idea they're watching them, but they did. And I did have a call this week. I mean, it's kind of newer, the TikTok, like I haven't done it that long. And I had a call this week from a lady that said, I ask always, who referred you to me? It's usually a realtor. And she said, I watch your TikTok videos. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
well,
there you
how
go.
cool. And she's from like an hour from right here. So it's not like it's just right here. And so somehow she saw the videos and called me and we got her pre-qualified and ready to go. So then, that's encouraging too. Then it's like, okay, well, it's working, better keep doing it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so let me add, I hadn't thought about this before, but now that you say that you bring up TikTok and I'm following you on Instagram, but so are you doing different things on Instagram versus TikTok, or is it the same things on all three? How are you thinking about that?
So, like I said, I'm definitely not the expert. I'm probably doing it all wrong. I don't know, but I post like whatever, when I make a video, I post it on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook. I post the same thing on all three of them. And I figure, well, if somebody's following me on Instagram and TikTok both, they either will watch it again or, I mean, I post the same thing on all of it. I mean,
Okay.
every once in a while, if I have a closing picture or something and I'm just tired, I may only post it on Facebook and not the others. But usually I try to post the same thing on all three and hope that it's reaching maybe different audiences. I think different, people have different social medias they follow. So maybe but I usually post the same thing on all of it. I don't try to
Yeah.
create three different videos and redo it.
Got it. Well, whatever you're doing, obviously it works. Like you say, you just got a call from TikTok, and that was a relatively new channel for you. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and that was a new thing for me. I never had someone call and actually said, like, I saw your videos and that's why I called you. So I was like, okay, oh, cool.
Very cool. So, one of the things with social media, and you talked a little bit about this, is just education. What do people want to know more about, and how can you outreach to them to help them be more confident, help them know that you're the expert. And to that point of education, we also, actively trying to educate our real estate agent partners on, various topics. And one of those that I wanted to ask you about specifically is just our smart non-QM. We do a lot of things with that, and I think a lot of people aren't familiar with it, so it's an education point. But maybe you could talk about smart if that's something you're doing, but just in general, how do you approach educating your real estate agent partners on, new things that are going on in the business, and how you can uniquely serve them.
Uh-huh. So what I did, like I was on a call talking about the Smart Series products, let's say maybe 2 weeks ago. So then afterward, I made a post. I didn't even make a video. I just put the text version, like Facebook, if you type out the text, then you can put a color background and like puts it in bold. So then I just made it as an image. And then I could screenshot the image and then share that same image to Instagram and TikTok. And so I just posted an image about if you have clients, because I try to cater the stuff to, like, I have people watching, but also realtors. So it's like either way, if it's you or if you're the realtor with a customer, I will just emphasize, but like keep it simple and just say, if you have a self-employed borrower, maybe they have too many write-offs or deductions. That is a customer for me. We have a great program for that. And then I've also posted about, if you're paid a 1099, we have a program for that. Just simple. I think sometimes we overcomplicate it. They don't need to know the rules. Do you have this credit score? Do you have this? Do you have, no, like just put out the hook. So then, and the realtors are watching, and I will get phone calls and text messages. And I did, like that week when I posted that. I got several calls and texts about, I have a customer that may be right for you because of this or that. And we got one pre-qualified from a long way away. But it is a realtor we worked with in the past, and she saw that, and it triggers and reminds, hey, I might have a customer for that. And so whether we post it there, I try to differentiate it, email it out, text it out to a bunch of the agents, and then also even make a short video about, hey, we just got a customer pre-qualified that's self-employed. We didn't even have to use their tax returns. If you have a customer like that, or if that's you, call me. It's like, it's simple, but it creates the hook. And also to the realtors, have you had a customer in the past that was self-employed or 1099 that maybe didn't qualify? If there's people you can think of, call me. We have, options for that. We have unique financing, creative financing, not using the words, like non-QM, because people don't even know what that means. It's like, and the general public, they don't care. They don't need to know. They just need to know. And the realtors, how can you help me? How are we going to close more transactions? And so I did put that out there, and I have closed those loans. They're very easy. They've been simple. And we have a lot of people that are self-employed, 1099, and that fit that category. So that's what I
Yeah.
did.
That makes so much sense. Like you say, I don't think people need, sometimes we default as experts that everybody wants to hear all these details and bullet points about what we can do and whatnot. And ultimately, they just want to know, can we help them? And I think a lot of people, you still see it, crazy text sometimes, or posts and information in the media that you need 20% down to buy a home and things. There's just so much
It's too
misinformation,
much.
and it scares people into thinking that they can't qualify. And really, there's
Right.
there's still amazing products out there, like Smart, that we've talked about for different kinds of income scenarios that can help people own a home and get in a better position. So the key is just to get people comfortable calling you and let you kind of listen and see what the solutions
Right.
might be.
And that's what, at the end of the day, I want the customer to call me, or the realtor to give me the customer's information, and then let me figure it out. Let me figure out what program. Let me figure out what option. Let me figure out where they need to go. I just need them to call me so I can handle it, rather than trying, and it's good for the realtor too. Like, we're going to take care of you. Just send us the customer. Let us figure out all the details. We're going to call them. We're going to figure that out, versus them trying to know, all the things. We need them to just send us the referral so we can take care of it.
That's right. So we've talked about kind of giving people confidence and making it feel easy to people, both our partners as well as our customers. And a huge part of that is working with our ops team and just making it seamless. So, someone who's been in the industry for a while, and as we talked about at the beginning, move paper around for loan officers. Do you have a point of view on how to best work with an ops team to make sure that it feels like a great experience and we close on time every time?
For me, I mean, we are in communication with them. I think, and again, it takes time. And like, that's what we need more of, is time. But we stay involved. We stay in constant communication with our assistant and with the processor, and we let them know constantly. If you ask a customer for documents and they don't answer you that day, then I need to know, because I can text them and say, our processor's trying to reach out to you, make sure you get it, reminding them they are on our team to respond. And so for us, I think we just really try to have that open line of communication with the processors and with the team and letting them know, like, if you need help, we're going to help you. Like, if you reach out to me, send me a Teams message, whatever it may be, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to text the customer right then. Because at the end of the day, we've got to get the loans closed. That's the goal. We want it to close. We want it to be pleasant. We want it to be good. Also, I have open communication with them to never, ever, ever like wait to let me know if a customer is frustrated or getting overwhelmed and half the time they just don't understand. And so open communication with the team to let them know, you let me know anytime the customer is kind of fussing, you might want to call them. Got it. I just call them and say, it's not our processor that is questioning you. This is how it works. We wish we could make the rules, but we don't get to, blah, blah, blah. But reinforcing that team so that it's not so much on them. Then it's like, oh, okay, Hillary said I have to provide it. And so being open though, letting them know, I think sometimes there may be a disconnect between the loan officer and the team, which there needs to be to some point because I want them to handle it. I want them to take care of it. And they do. They do a great job. But if they need my help or if the customer isn't responding, my team knows they can let me know. And immediately I'm going to call the customer, text the customer, help them reiterate whatever they're asking for and get it done. The other thing I do try to do and I have always tried to do is I don't argue with them. Very seldom. Like, I mean, if underwriting says we need A, B, and C, just get it. Just get it. We get it done. And so the processor, if they need help, they let us know, and then we just request what they're asking for. And so we try to just enforce, encourage, and be there to help them do their job, I guess is the best way to explain it. And they know they can reach out to us. They know that they're not going to get fussed at because we want them to tell us if they need help. And I think that is important.
Yeah. But there's a lot to love in everything you said there. And there's two things that really stand out to me. One is that you mentioned, it's a team. It's not the processor that's asking for something. A lot of times that our ops partners will get beat up by the customer because they don't understand why they're going to ask for something. And so I love the fact that you say it's not them, it's us, and together, you, me, the ops team, we're all going to get this done together to get across the line. So I think that team part and that it's we working on this loan. And the other thing is, you mentioned kind of the urgency about it that, hey, don't, if someone's not responding today, let me know and we'll keep it moving because, I always say nobody ever complains if we get their loan approved 10 days early. Where we hear it is where it's, we're backing into 2 days before closing and things like that. And you generally look back and say, gosh, if we just would have had the documents faster, we could have avoided all this. So, you don't want to burn any days that you don't have to, and keep it going. And everyone will thank you in the end for that. So I love the fact that you keep that connection.
And it's so important because if there is a delay and then you have to communicate to the realtor, we need a few extra days. The realtor's going to say, why?
Right.
And if you say, well, the customer didn't provide me the documents that I asked for a week. I don't know about everybody else. Maybe it's just East Texas, but that realtor is going to say, well, why didn't you tell me?
That's right.
Because I could have gotten involved and helped. And so that's part of it too, is I want the processor to tell me like day 2, they're not answering or they're complaining or they're not wanting to send it. Because then I will reach out to them and say, it's not us. It's not Platinum Eagle Mortgage. It's not Newrez. We don't get to make the rules. We're the messenger, but I need this stuff and I need it today. And here's why. Then if they push back to me or don't want to respond or just don't answer, whatever it is, then I can let the realtor know right away and say, our people aren't answering and this is going to cause a delay. And you can bet that realtor is going to help be on them and also explain. And the ending is a lot happier.
Yes. all the time. Like I said, if everyone
Yeah.
we close on time, everyone's happy, and that's what they remember. So,
Right. So they
um,
want to know upfront.
that's right. So we talked about, we've talked quite a bit about real estate agents and how you partner with them closely. And so, we know there's a ton of competition. There's a lot of consultants out there competing for that business and to earn the trust. So is what are some of the things you're doing to stand out from the crowd and to earn that trust over time of, like you said, both the the top producing real estate agents in a market, but also the folks that maybe are only doing two a year, like you said.
So for us, I just try to stay in front of them and available. Honestly, I mean, I try to present them with, different educational things, but it's really staying in front of them and top of mind. Like whether I'm sending emails or sending text messages, writing thank you notes so that I'm staying in front of them as an option, making sure they know we have this to offer. If you have this customer, don't forget about me, and asking for the business. You can't be afraid to ask, but you can always I try to just keep it simple, but stay in front of them, whether it's sending out the mass text, email, posting the social media, just, like this week, maybe, if you have a veteran, don't forget, I'm your VA lender. Well, then when next time they get a veteran, it's be like, oh, Hillary's a VA lender. You know, most of the time they can relate to those simple things. And so it's really just staying in front of them, staying top of mind, giving them resources. We try to bring different pop buys by the local office, like whether it's flyers talking about different products and information. But then it's like, do they look at it? So I really like to text them just here and there, reminding them. And a lot of times I'll just say, don't forget me with your buyers. It's really important to me. I want to help them. Um, and just trying to stay on top of them, and then providing the service once they do send us the referral. And I do use the social media. I try to post the realtor, and when I, go to the closing or post a picture of the house, tag that realtor, giving them that social presence,
Right.
helping market them out there. Look at them, way to go, helping really congratulate and put them out on social media. Or, I've even taken short videos of realtors that are like, oh my gosh, I don't do video. I'm like, well, today you do. And we do a short video, but then I tag them and post it, share it. They love it. And it's just little things like I helped, invest that little bit of time to put them out on social media and help them get exposure. And so then my hope, is other agents see that. It's like, oh, well, Hillary is sharing these agents, helping them get out there. It's just something we can do. And it doesn't cost us a thing to help encourage.
That's right. And actually it's the number one thing when we ask in our real estate agent surveys what we can do to better support them as a lender, as a loan consultant. The number one thing the real estate agents say is to help promote them on social media, help promote their listings, help promote them. So, like you say, whether it's shooting a video or just commenting for reach on those kind of, not
Mhm.
saying commenting for reach, I'm not a big fan of that, but actually commenting something useful on their post, and so more people see it and associate it.
Yes.
It's a big lift for them. Every little bit helps. We're
It
all in this
is.
together, and we're all entrepreneurs.
And the agents post their open house flyers, and they post their new listings, and those agents that you have worked with before, especially sharing those, helping. Sometimes I'll share it and even say, like, if I know specifically this house will qualify for down payment assistance or something like that, put that out there with them and tag them in it. Also, when we had our open house contest, that was good because it made me go and get out. But I would try to go and create just a short little video and then post it of them and me, and they really love it. And so I still try to go, whether I'm at an open house or an event they have, anything like that, just taking, even if it's a picture of you and them, or even just at their thing and tagging them in it, and that's something they can share and put out there.
Yeah, I love it. So look, we're getting towards the end. I want to just kind of go through a progression for folks that are watching this of just how to learn from some of your experiences and how to grow as a leader and whatnot. So let me start with this. If I were starting in or somebody who's watching this video is just getting started and they want to be a successful loan consultant, what would you say are kind of the things you would recommend to do them? Or if you were just getting started, what would you do differently? Like, how would you look at that to get going?
Well, first thing I would say is, maybe partner with a loan officer or loan processor assistant to make sure that they have the education and the knowledge, because that's really important. You don't want to go out and be getting referrals, but then you don't really fully understand what you're doing, what you're saying. Learning, you can learn a lot from an assistant, as even the basics, what paperwork you're going to need and all that. So you get at least a brief understanding of what's this going to look like. I would say, being educated is really important. But also, um, going out and being in front of the realtors is important. I don't do it enough. Um, but and doing it consistently. If you pick, say, two or three offices and you say, okay, I'm going to go by once a week, every week, even if you're just bringing business cards or bring cookies, bring a flyer, but keep doing it week after week after week. Eventually, somebody's going to feel sorry for you and be like, we need to give this poor person a loan. At least, something. But it's doing it consistently. And then after you go by a few times, get those realtors information, text those realtors, share your contact with those realtors. Make sure, I always emphasize, even still, even ones I've worked with many times, if it's been a while and then I finally get a referral, I retext them my contact. Here's my contact. Make sure you have it saved so you can share it. The goal, hopefully they're sharing it with the new customers they come into contact with. If they don't have your contact saved in their phone, they're not going to refer you. I mean, more than likely. Business cards are fine. They're not going to carry them around, but texting them, letting them know I'm here for you if you need help, and just staying in front of them, but making sure they have the contact saved. It's important.
Yeah. I think it comes back to, and both of us as parents, I know, are saying the same thing to our kids, that there's no shortcuts in life. You got to put in the work. And like you say, the first thing you got to do, you got to put in the time to be an expert. You're not going to learn this business from a book, and you're not going to learn it overnight. You got to kind of see the reps. You got to do the work to earn that confidence. And then, like you say, that it's the gritty work of going to open houses. I mean, I refer to this all the time. We have conversations with lots of people, and you're saying the same thing. We all know that's a really effective way, if not the most effective way, to meet people where they are and get face to face and show your support. But it's the very few that will actually do it, like say, and to do it consistently. And so again, it's the work, it's the hard work, and then it's the follow up. When you get your opportunity, you got to make the most of it to make sure it's an amazing experience. And then to ask for the business to follow up and say, okay, we crushed it there. That was awesome. Are there any other things we can do? Or please make sure to let me know the next time there's an opportunity. I mean, those are, you know, that in a nutshell, everything you said there is a great playbook for somebody who's getting started.
And it seems so simple, and it is hard, but especially when you're new and getting out there, it's hard, and you're going to have to answer the phone and be available at the times when others aren't. You have to do the things others aren't doing, that
Right.
they don't want to do, you know.
That is right. So, all right, so let's take it to the next step. You were a successful loan consultant. You joined us with Platinum Eagle and Newrez, and you just came out flying out of the gate. So, what's your, secret, if you will, to success for a loan consultant who's maybe just joining a new company or hopefully just joining Newrez? How do you get going quick in a new environment?
I use the social media to really help me and just marketing the products, making the videos. Like we said, do you have a customer that fits this box? Send them to me. And really just emailing, texting, and then putting out there on the social media what we have, how we can help them. And sometimes it's the unique products. Like I was saying, you have to do the things others don't want to do. Whether that is, you know what, I'm going to market all the mobile homes because that's maybe something like all the other lenders that are doing jumbo loans everywhere, they're not marketing or saying to their realtors, you know what, I can handle all your mobile home transactions. Well, that is a real thing. That is where we are, and that is something that I know others aren't necessarily marketing. Even right now, as being, successful, I'm still marketing those things that are, I try to think what are things that others may not love to do, but I can still get those referrals and I want to close them. So I try to think of the unique products, the like maybe mobile home, modular home, maybe others don't offer that. Those sort of things that we can market and put out there that can get those referrals going quickly.
That's right. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, and I think the way you say it too, maybe the things that other people don't want to do, they want the bigger loans and those kind of things. But the fact that you're willing to do it gives you the opportunity then to showcase everything that you can do. And then is going to make them think of you when some of these other opportunities come around. So
Right. And
that's
there are
really
some realtors that are like super nice and they will tell you openly, like, I have a relationship with this lender that I've had forever. And I always tell them, I'm like, that's great. If you need a second opinion or if something's not working, please send them to me. If there's loans they don't want to do, I'll tell them. Like, if there's low credit scores, if there's loans, the smaller loan amounts they don't want, like, I am happy to take their leftovers. I try to just encourage them, I want all of those.
Mhm.
So send me those at least, when you can. Or if there's a loan, I mean, more than likely, if their person can't do it, I can't. But maybe I'm going to be able to keep in communication with them and eventually one day get that person. So I try to reiterate that with the agents that maybe do have a hard relationship with a lender that I know kind of like it's going to be really hard. I still encourage them and say, well, if they can't do it or you need a second opinion, or they don't want to do it, send me those. I will
Good.
appreciate that.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, last question, Hillary, and we have the opportunity to talk to so many great folks like yourself on the show here, and we always want to learn about leadership. Either you as a leader or the best leaders you've worked with. So let me just ask that question: like, who is the best leader you've worked with? And you don't have to say their name if you don't want, but just who's the best leader you've ever worked with and why? What made them stand out?
So there is a mortgage manager, and he is extremely organized. I think that he must have his calendar like laid out for a year in advance. So like if you don't get on early, you're not getting in. But he's very positive and encouraging and very organized and has the experience. Has so many successful loan officers and people on his team, and to talk to him, just hear the tips, tricks, tools, um, things that, as busy loan officers, we don't want to do, like take the time and think about your goals, think about these different things, set aside time. He really help encourage me to do some of those things, just reflect on those things, even pain points, different things like knowing like you're not alone, this is normal. Just really to me, maybe reiterating the positive that, you're doing good, hang in there, you're not alone, because there's days that we are tired and beat down. And he is a wonderful leader because he has a great mix of all of those, but he's never down. He's never negative. He's always encouraging. And he has the tools and experience. And so he really helps you plan, look at the overall picture, the feedback. Are you doing all these things consistently? Well, maybe you need to work on this. Um, but he does it in a positive way. So anytime you talk to him, you always feel, I do, encouraged and like, okay, I can do this. Let me go get some more, or
Yeah.
I can work on this, but in a positive way. And so he's the leader that I think of.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I think the three things you hit on there was um, being organized. You want to know that a leader is kind of has a plan and that it's something you can believe in, and they're structured to get where we want to be. Secondly, you mentioned expertise, like somebody who actually knows what they're talking about and has done this before. You've got some confidence that if you ask them for advice or direction, that they're going to give you good advice that you can follow. And then the third thing is, positivity. I mean, we all need somebody to lift us up once in a while, and that's what leaders should do. It should be that you have the experience, that it's somebody who can listen to what you're saying, and it's not just, and it's not really commiserating. It's more of just, hey, here's a way to get out of this. Here's a path to get out of it, and I'm with you side by side to
Yes.
win, to get better. And so, boy, what a
And
what a
something
great
else,
way
he
to
is
end.
a good listener. So he
Yeah.
like must write down everything because when you talk to him again, he must pull out those notes because he still has it all. And you feel like, he's talking to hundreds of people, but he knows you, or at least you feel like it, because he is a good listener and he writes down and takes all of those notes.
Yeah. Well, and I can't help but say, when somebody makes that comment, Hillary, it always makes me think of the best leader, the best, mentor I've had for 30 plus years, is this person who, when they're talking to you, you're the only person in the room. It doesn't matter, if there's 100 people around. It doesn't matter if the president of the United States walked in the corner, he would still be focused on you, no matter who you are in the company. And it's such a special quality that it stands out. I mean, this
Yes.
person, my wife, comments on the same thing, that it's just an amazing gift. So it's awesome. All right, so Hillary, we've talked about some of the amazing stuff you're doing on social media, which is, making such an impact in your business. And one of the things I hear from loan consultants and just people in general is the fear of starting, I think, is a lot of it. But just, nervous about, oh, I'm going to look terrible on video, or that's just not for me. So, one, I guess, did you ever feel like that? And what would you tell somebody who's, just not there yet to kind of make that step?
So, of course, yes, even now, you're making the video, you said, oh, is my hair like, oh, is it just right? Oh, that doesn't look, oh, wrinkled. But you can't overanalyze it. And at the end of the day, it comes back to that hunger of, I want to serve more. I want to do more. I want to be at the top. I want to have more loans. And at the end of the day, people watching and getting to know you and seeing you on social media, they're not analyzing all the things that we worry about. I've heard loan officers like, oh, well, I'm going to say the wrong thing. Well, you're not if you keep it simple. We're not going into the rules, the regulations, the rates, all the things. Just post out there. I said, even say, who you are. I'm Hillary Bryan. I'm a mortgage lender. Don't forget me. I want to do your loan. Like, post it.
Right.
But you can't overanalyze it. And at the end of the day, if you want to grow, you want to help more people, you want to make more money, you post the video and you don't worry about, oh, my nose looks weird, right there. You just post it. I don't like to rewatch it. I don't rewatch them. I don't want to hear myself talk. I don't want to rewatch it. My husband thinks it's hilarious when we lay down in the bed at night. He will put it on and press play and put it in my ear, and I'm like, turn that off. Because I'm like, that is embarrassing. I don't want to see myself. I don't want to watch it. But at the end of the day, it is working to grow my business. And I try to think about it's it's almost like it's not about me. It's not about my hair's out of place or my chin looks weird. It's about I'm growing my business. I'm making more money. I'm closing more loans because of these social media things that don't cost you anything, that seem silly, but it works. And so you just kind of have to have a different mindset don't overanalyze it, keep it simple, and just post the video or even a still picture if you're not comfortable with the video yet, ease into it.
Yeah. Anybody that I've listened to who's, a big influencer on social media or a big podcaster, they all say they can't believe kind of what they sound like or what they look like in their first few posts versus where they are today. So the point is, you can't get better at it unless you do it. You're going to learn over time and you're going to kind of find your voice and get better. But like everything else in life, you got to work at it to get there. So there's that, like
Yes.
you're saying, you just got to jump in and do it.
Right. And there's
And
so
the
many
other,
tools. I think people use that as excuse. Like, oh, I don't have a microphone. I don't have this. I don't have the background. I don't have the app for the teleprompter. I don't have well, I don't use any of that. I don't try to post as a professional social media person. I want it to be real. I want it to be authentic. I use my phone. I take the short camera video and post it. So you don't have to have all the tools and all the things to just post the video. And even if I mess up in the video, sometimes I still post it because I'll be trying to think on the video. I'll think, oh, what am I trying to say? And I'm like, oh, yeah, this loan or whatever it is, call us because people can relate to that. Like it's not staged, it doesn't have to be perfect. And people watch those more than they do the ones that, honestly, the people that have it so structured and so professional and they're so informative, people don't want to watch that. That's boring.
that's right.
They'd
I,
rather
I,
they would rather see you with your hair sticking up and during the video you think, oh my gosh, I am your mortgage lender. Look at that crazy hair, have a good Monday or whatever. Like that's who we are. Like we are human.
Yeah, I love that. And you're 100% right. I mean, it makes me think about we had an expert a couple weeks ago speaking with our team who, wrote a book, did all this study on digital marketing and whatnot. And he said the same thing of just, you mentioned you don't rewatch your video, you don't rewatch your post. And the point is, nobody else does either. Like people are going through, people have their own lives. If you mess up, nobody's going to remember that tomorrow. Like these, we get way too wrapped up in what people think about us and getting things perfect when in reality, the little mistakes, the little things that make us human, like you say, are actually what make us endearing, and make
And
people
they
want to
remember,
connect with
all
us.
they remember
Right.
is their neighbors wanting to sell their house and they just saw the video. Oh, well, Hillary's a mortgage lender. Call her. They don't really know. They don't even remember what I said, you know.
Right. So, uh, the other thing I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is, I think at Newrez, one of the things I'm really proud of and happy to be a part of is our ERGs. We do a lot of things for employee resource groups where we find people who are in different segments. So I get to work with our military and veterans group, and I get so much out of that myself. And another group that we have is the Women's Empowerment Group. And I know we have a Women's Empowerment Summit and we do lots of things. And so I wanted to take this opportunity for you to maybe speak to your unique experience as a woman in this industry, as a super successful loan consultant. Is there anything you would say to that part of the audience that maybe has been special or particularly useful for you in achieving what you have?
Mhm. So it's always interesting to me, which maybe it's because being female, and then you go to like the top producer um, panels and meetings and things like this, and the majority of loan officers and loan consultants, they are men. And so, and it's weird to me because I'm like, why is there so many men? Like to me, I mean, to me, it's like a female, we have so much more fun. We have more energy. We're more attentive to the details. Like we are on it here. But like I just think like my husband like can't find the ketchup in the pantry. I'm like we can find it. We have to go to the grocery store, get it, bring it home, find it, cook it, all the things. Like we have got this. And so really though, it's you have to be strong. The business is hard and it does come over time because I am a lot more I'm a lot stronger like emotionally than 15 years ago when a customer might get upset or complaining about this or their bank statement or this or that. And now I've learned over time it's not personal. I think that women, we are more emotional, can take things more personal probably. And so you have to develop that with experience. You do get a better understanding, like the customer's not fussing at you. But you have to be strong because it's a hard business. It's a hard job. Um, and for a lot of women, I think too, being the mom and all of the things, and if they have little children and balancing all of that is hard, but very successful, very rewarding. And like you can balance all the things. That is the great thing about this job is like if I need to go to the pep rally at the school, I might be doing a pre-qual in the stands, but I'm there and I'm watching and I'm still able to be a part of all of that as a mom and a loan officer. But I think that female loan officers are the best because we are more into the details, I think.
Yeah. And I think it, it really does resonate with me. You talk about strength, which I think strength is always a good thing, but also, the maybe being more sensitive to people's emotions and where people are, because look, I mean, we know this process gives people anxiety, buying a home, it's unfamiliar, there's so much at stake and so, your
And those females
sensitivity to that.
and those
Yeah,
moms in the transaction are feeling all that too while they're trying to be the
right.
mom and all the things. And the something else too maybe is, maybe it makes us more sensitive to the team and
Mhm.
working with underwriters and processors and working with the team, being having our own emotions and handling all the things, being a woman in this role, it would be helpful, I would think, to work with the team more kind of, dealing with the family structure, juggling all the things, the paperwork, the underwriting, the processing, all the things, well, females are used to juggling all the things and keeping everything afloat, and so it goes hand in hand with this job.
Yeah. I love it. Perfect. All right. Well, if we didn't already book you for the next Women Empowerment Summit, I'll make sure to get this clip over to the powers that be. Okay. Well, Hillary, we've covered a lot of stuff here. Well, I appreciate you so much being on today. I got a ton of good stuff walking away. I know our audiences will as well. So again, thank you. And until next time, Newrez Voices. See ya.
Bye bye.
All right.